What's up, nerds? I'm pretty sure that by now, everyone knows that Arc Raiders is a very successful game. And though I have played most extraction shooters prior to this one, none of them had really grabbed my attention, and a big part of the reason is of course that I am a serial collector. And by definition, in extraction shooters, if you die before you extract, then you lose everything that you had in your inventory at the time of your death. And that definitely is still the case here in Arc Raiders, but this is an extraction shooter in which I got quite hooked on, so let's talk about that. For the very few of you who may have never heard of extraction shooter before, it is a genre of game in which you go into an incursion, an expedition, dungeon delves, or in this case raids, out to the quarantine zone, dungeon, or in this case the surface, to try and get supplies, equipments, and weapons back to your base camp or the last underground settlement of humanity. And whatever you bring back you get to keep, either to prepare for future incursions or to sell, or in some games, to hand in for quests. And as you prepare to go for your next incursion, most extraction games do allow you to buy stuff from NPC traders and sometimes even craft stuff you may have learned along the way. And this is mostly where my collector itch kinda gets scratched in this genre and in this game in particular. Not in the weapons and gears themselves, because you can and will lose them eventually as you raid enough. But collecting blueprints stays with you, or at least partly. Back when I used to play Dungeonborn, I had gone after the legendary items that once you did specific things to obtain them, you could from then on craft these items back in your camp. I even made a video about it. Likewise, here in Arc Raiders, occasionally you can find blueprints of practically every item in the game, except the ones you can already craft from the get-go, of course. And some of these are rare. Of course, the items themselves have rarities, but the blueprints don't really. In fact, I think it is much harder to get an Anvil blueprint than it is to get a Volcano or Bobcat blueprint, even before the Hurricane map condition was made available. Also, a bit more on the rarer side in most extraction games is that there is a skill tree, and you can see that here in Arc Raiders there are 3 skill trees, and you can mix and match to better suit your playstyle, of course. The level cap here is 75, and you get experience for each kind of action in the raids, but also quests from the different NPC traders, which can get you not only XP, but also some pretty good items and skins. Yes, skins, another scratch for my itch. And of course, you can always spend money to buy store exclusive cosmetics or get the free-to-play ones by reaching certain levels, doing certain quests, doing certain events, and claiming from their decks. What are decks, you may ask? Think War Bonds from Helldivers 2, and that's the gist of it. But here in Arc Raiders, we have 3 so far, and all 3 have been completely free. And in each of these decks, you can get some consumables and gear aside from the deck exclusive cosmetics. And the way you claim these is again by playing through the game. And you get a bit of this blue credit depending on how many kinds of actions you did in a raid and how well you did them during the raid, but also through daily challenges. So that's fantastic, of course. But the way free-to-play outfits work in this game is that you don't unlock the whole outfit at once, but there are parts to it like accessories and hat, but they're specific to that outfit. It would be cool if you could use any of the unlocked hats with any of the unlocked outfits, but alas, this is what we get, and honestly, it's not too bad, I guess. It is still more customizable than most. And doing all the quests and leveling up a ton may feel like you unlocked a lot of stuff, but when you look at the customize, you will see that it was just another part of the outfit or color variation. So I guess it is still collecting, but it just kind of feels like repeats in my head, especially when you unlock just another color. There are also trials, which are little weekly challenges that are given to you 5 every week, I think, and you need to do each one of these in a single round. So like the Bird City one here, you need to search nests, and you need to search enough to get a 3-star. But if you extract when you only have 1 star, then the next time you go into the Bird City, you will start from 0 again. So it can be a bit of a challenge depending on what they ask you to do. Also, if you want to keep going up on the ranks, even after you get 3 stars, you may want to keep going to rack up some points. Because depending on your position of the leaderboard, you will either be promoted 3 times, promoted 2 times, promoted once, stay in your current rank, or even get demoted. And if you want the trial exclusive outfit for that season, then you will need to get to at least the hotshot rank. But of course, each star will get you some loot, which is great. In fact, this is a great way to get blueprints. I did did get the Looter Mark III Survivor blueprint from one of these, which is one of the more sought after blueprints. And like I mentioned, when the week is over, depending on how high you were in the leaderboard for your rank, you will receive motions to go up in rank. And as you can see, each of the ranks will be given certain parts of the outfit. And like I said, you will need to be hotshot rank to get everything for the outfit of that specific season. So that is kind of cool, but also like I mentioned, I'm not a huge fan of FOMO in games, and so far it has been somewhat easy to go up in ranks, but I don't like the idea of if other people play sweatier than you, then you might not get promoted, in which case you might not be able to get the full outfit even if you do play quite a bit. Then there are projects, which are kind of like events, I guess. Some of them in the past have been time limited, but we also have a few that don't have any time limits either, as you can see. And you just have to donate specific items that the project requires, and finishing a page gets you certain rewards, and some of them can be cosmetics specific to that project. One of the more prominent projects is of course the expedition, and that's really the reset system of this game. So it's not something exclusive to our creators, but definitely not very common in extraction shooters. I mean, there are resets in extraction shooters, but usually they're imposed on the entire player base at once, whether you like it or not, after some time period. And in a lot of the cases, you might not get anything out of it. But the way it works here in Arc Raiders is more like the reset systems in MMORPGs. My first time coming across this kind of reset system was from Mew Online. Once you reach the level cap, they will let you reset back to level 1, but with like 25 more stat points, which was equivalent to 5 extra levels. And it is very similar here. Once you do all the project for the expedition, there is a time period in which they will let you sign up for the expedition, and if you do sign up, then when the time period ends, you will reset with everyone else who did sign up. And depending on how much coins you have, which includes the value of your stash, you get extra skill points up to 5 points per expedition. Not only that, but you get some extra XP buffs, some more stash space, your rooster gets you more stuff supposedly, all of which increases incrementally with every subsequent expedition that you do. So not only do you get a choice if you want to reset in this game, but also you gain stuff from doing it instead of just completely losing everything. Not only so, but you also get expedition specific outfit, which is great, but again, not complete. The more expeditions that you do, the more stuff you unlock for that outfit. But yeah, all in all, it sounds pretty good, right? And of course, you do get to keep all of the outfits that you unlocked so far, every cosmetics, which is fantastic. Except one thing, everything else resets. So everything you had in your stash is emptied out, all the upgrades you had gotten for your stash is gone, except for of course the bonus stash space that you get from the expedition. Any level that you had of course is gone. All your skill points except the ones that you got from the expedition are gone as well. Your workshops where you crafted stuff, even if you upgraded all of them to level 3, they're all gone. But more importantly, your blueprints, my blueprints, my blueprints are gone. So you can guess that as a collector, this does hurt. Do I want to collect the expedition specific outfit? Heck yeah, I do. But do I want to lose all of my blueprints? No, I frankly don't. That said, I'm not rich. I do want to get my value out of the games that I play, so I figured I would at least do the expedition once, just to get to experience everything that the game has to offer and to see what that feels like. And to be completely honest, it wasn't as bad as I expected. Like I said, yes, I did lose all of my stuff, but like I mentioned before, there are some special conditions that happens in the maps when you do go into raids, and Embark somewhat recently did add Hurricane condition, and it is pretty different from all the other special conditions that we had before, but in it we could get rare blueprints somewhat easily, to the point where they had to nerf it. But even post nerf, it is still somewhat easy to get these blueprints, so it's been pretty fun to go after these again. Of course, there are blueprints that you can't get from here, namely the 3 legendary weapon blueprints. One of them, the Aphelion, you can get from killing the biggest boss in this game so far, the Matriarch, but you have to be the first one to loot her core, and that's almost never possible, just because of how many people it takes to kill this thing, but also how many rats there are around just waiting to loot this thing when people do take it down. Alternatively, it can be a rare drop from the map Stella Montis during night raids. In fact, I think that's how most people get it. But aside from those, there are 2 other blueprints that you can get from the Harvester / Queen boss fight. Doing the puzzle in the Harvester, 3 containers will open up, which usually contains at least one of the two blueprints, being either Jupiter or Equalizer. All three of these legendaries are energy weapons, in fact the only energy weapons in the game so far, and it is pretty cool to have, to collect, you know. And I did have all three before I reset my character, but now I have no good weapons to go fight these bosses again, so it will take me a while until I get those back again, but I'm looking forward to it. Before I finish editing the video, I did get multiple Aphelion blueprints from the night raids in Stella Montes, so I at least have an Aphelion, but I'm not a huge fan of it. So, will I ever go on another expedition to reset my character again? Well, I'm not sure yet, because as much as I'm enjoying this game, I know that with other MMOs that had this kind of reset system, resetting the character enough times did make the game go stale pretty fast, making every action feel repetitive. And I'll tell you, I used to love those MMOs, I used to live in them, and still they grew stale pretty fast. And I'm not at that point yet where I think things are too repetitive here in Arc Raiders, but leveling up my workspace has been a bit cumbersome already on my first reset, so I'm not really looking forward to doing that again 4 more times just to complete the outfit. But as far as collecting blueprints go, even though I know they will be taken away again if I choose to reset again, for now it's been okay, it's been enjoyable, which is kind of weird I guess, because I'm not usually like that. I don't like losing things that I already collected in other games, so it could be the chill encounters that I have with people on passive lobbies, or just the whole vibe of the post-apocalypse robot-ridden Italy that has been enjoyable to walk around in. But for now, I think I will stick around with it for a bit longer, grind stuff for those trials cosmetics, perhaps some more event cosmetics, and see what Embark has in store for us in the future. With all that said, there's only one more thing to talk about, which is the community. And I know there's not much to collect there unless you collect friends or some creepy thing like that. And here's the thing about online game communities. There are no online games that don't have at least some toxic players. I used to think Fallout 76 had mostly a nice community, but that's because it's mostly a PvE game. There's not much toxic players can actually do to you in game. I have eventually come to learn that they can, however, leave a lot of mean comments on your videos. And so on Arc Raiders being an extraction shooter, which by definition is a PvPvE game, I expected there to be way more toxic players than in Fallout 76, especially because from past experiences, most extraction shooters, though having PvE content, the encounters that really matter were PvP, and usually it's a shoot on sight kind of deal. But much to my surprise, that wasn't the case here. Well, I'm sure it is to some people, but in this game there is this thing called aggression-based matchmaking, and is one of the biggest reasons why Arc Raiders got so famous. So the more you shoot at other people, the more they put you in lobbies with other aggressive people, and the less you shoot at people, the more they put you in other lobbies with more passive people. And so if you purposely try to get to passive lobbies, people will dance with you, work together with you, and help you in different ways.
Let's go!
And that's something that I had never experienced in other extraction shooters. So that was, of course, fantastic. And for a collector, asking people if they have something you need and offering something they might need has been a pretty interesting experience. That said, not all is sunshine and flowers, because more and more people are reporting that aggression-based matchmaking must have reset after a big update, as passive players are finding themselves being shot at suddenly after an update. I myself experienced this several times, but in this last update it has been particularly worse, as I played 12 raids without shooting at anyone, but I still found myself being shot at in every single one of those 12 raids. Now, a lot of people have tested matchmaking, and some swear that just being shot at also increases your aggression to a certain point and whatnot, so I guess it could have been that since I've been shot at every single round. But the other times that I have found myself in aggressive lobbies, I would just play 5 rounds without shooting at anyone and I would be back into passive lobbies. It has never taken this long before, so it does make me wonder if something else is going on. One thing that I could speculate is that the number of players have gone down since launch, which of course is completely completely normal for online games. After all, this is after the second expedition for the players who have played this since launch, and after the first expedition for a lot of the players. So like I mentioned before, to many it has started to get to the point where things are getting repetitive. So many of them do take a break from the game and then come back when the next big update hits. That's completely normal in any online games. All of them have these ups and down cycles matching with the updates. But Steam chart here does say that we're down to around 100,000 players on Steam alone compared to the 480,000 concurrent players at the peak of its time. So we have less than 1/4 of the players playing on Steam than there used to be. It makes me wonder if we're starting to not have enough players to separate aggressives from the passives every single time, so they are sneaking in a few from each group into the other or something. Because I've been going in trying to do some trials and have been shot at every single round. And again, though that is normal in other extraction games, it definitely feels like a bummer here after getting used to the passive lobbies. But who knows, maybe it will be fixed in the next update, or maybe it won't. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, and as a bonus, this does run okay on a Steam Deck and great on my ROG Ally Z1 Extreme, so I can farm stuff while my desktop is rendering videos, including this one. But yeah, around this point of the video, I will talk about all the collection videos that I made or plan to make for the game that I'm reviewing. But in Arc Raiders, as of yet, there's not much to make a video on specific collections. The only really notable thing that came to my mind was the legendary weapon blueprints, but I did briefly mention all of them in this video, so I don't think that would be worth making a video on its own. But maybe they will add more legendary stuff in the future, so we'll see, I guess. Anyway, that was my view and experience with Arc Raiders so far as a serial collector. So tell me, will you be playing this game, or have you been playing it already? And if so, have you done expeditions? Have you gotten bored of the game? Tell me how you feel, tell me your experience in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider helping the channel out by clicking join down below to become a member. Subscribe to see more videos like this, and of course, always nerd on. Wait for me! Wait for me!
Ahora, come in.
Oh no! We got this.
Now with it.
Whew.